Hey, hey. All right, Angie, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. Let's go ahead and get into your astrology. So for 2026, you've got a lot of different transits that have been moving into different houses. With that said, let's go ahead and start with your Aries ascendant. You have Saturn and Neptune still in your 12th house. What is 12th house? Your past, your privacy, and your hidden zone. Okay. It's the part of ourselves that we try to keep hidden. And now that Saturn and Neptune are both in Aries, um, there's going to be a lot of things that you do have to let go of. Okay. This is a time for you to kind of do a reset. So 12th house has a lot to do with our illusions, delusions, fantasies, mental institutions, sorrow, depression, sex, drugs, alcohol, codependent relationships, those types of things. So if there's anybody who is codependent on you, those things are going to be like where you're able to kind of release that from your energy and be able to move on. Now, 12th house is also the house of spirituality or religion. So as we're doing this, obviously this is very spiritual. So you could have been delving into your spiritual practices more, learning manifestation, learning how to, let go of fear, because 12th house can also be fear of the unknown. So that is going to be kind of released into a higher octave is what I want to say. It's like recognizing that, you can be afraid of like the next steps, but there's nothing to really be afraid of. Also, that 12th house is the house of self undoing. So if there has been something like, an identity, right, that you have your entire life, you have been kind of operating on a certain octave because maybe somebody told you something, or maybe somebody made you feel less than. I feel like you're going to be able to like let go of that, so to speak. Okay. Also, Neptune and Saturn are going to be creeping towards your 15-degree Aries, which is going to be your first house. So, your identity, okay, your identity, what you're known for, is going to be going through massive changes. And I speak for myself as well. I'm also an Aries ascendant. So I feel in the next couple of years, and Saturn is a 2-year transit in each sign. Okay. So for the next couple of years, I feel like how you've been identifying with yourself, you're going to be changing that identity. So, you could go from one business practice and you go over to another, right? You're no longer known as a bookkeeper. Now you're known as, whatever. um you could also be known as grandma. Okay, that's also another identity, right? You could one your son could have a baby and now you're known as grandma, so you're evolving when it comes to your identity. Okay. With Uranus now transiting through Gemini, starting in April. This is going to be a really good time for you to write a book. Okay, if that's something that you're wanting to do, or teaching, maybe there's an online class that you want to teach. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of online opportunities for you as well. And then also, that's an identity, right? Now you're known as an author, or you're known as a teacher. So this is going to go on for the next 7 years. 7 years. Okay. There also could be a lot going on within the family, cousins, siblings, neighbors, or even your neighborhood. Maybe you decide you're going to change neighborhoods. You could also find yourself doing a lot more long or short distance traveling as well during the Uranus and Gemini. You're here, you're there, you got to go here, you got to do this, you got to, so you're constantly on the move. You can feel like your brain is just like, go, 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 go. And, you got this phone call and then you have to go over here. You get this phone call, you got to go over there. And they can come in quite suddenly. Now, what's going to end up happening? Uranus is the only planet that cannot be predicted. So therefore, I can't actually tell you what's going to happen with your cousins, your siblings, your neighbors, all of those things, because if I tried to predict them, it probably most likely won't be that. Okay. So do keep that in mind. You are going to be learning new communication styles, marketing styles, those types of things, more to do with computers. So, like I said, if there's a book that you want to be writing, I would definitely, when Uranus goes into Gemini, sit down and start writing that book, or get yourself online so you can start teaching those types of classes. And it's really a wild card of whatever it is that you want to teach. The student now becomes the teacher, okay? So you will be learning because we will have a lot more technology. We've got Chat GPT now, we've got Grok, so there's a lot of AI stuff that we are going to have to integrate into our business practices. So, however that may be, you may find yourself using like Chat GPT to go in and, help organize the book that you're going to be writing, or communications, or marketing, or however that may be. Okay. So we now have the South Node in Leo. So when it comes to your children, okay, they kind of have to do things on their own. You're not really going to be able to be the saving grace, so to speak. I feel like right now, more than anything, you need to get within your community. All right. This would be a great time for like humanitarian practices. If there's something that you've been wanting to get involved in, that would be a really great place as an outlet, especially with all these other things going on. Maybe you go into a book club, right? Or you're going to read to like little kids, at the library, or, something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that those are those things, but that it's like along those lines. So, what kind of humanitarian practices can you get yourself involved in? This is also a really good time for you to um get out with friends, do something, get into new communities, get into your community as well, especially with Tom and his work. You want to be doing more of getting out into the community so that you can market what it is that you guys are bringing to the table, because you never know who's going to need it. All right. Because again, online practices is definitely very important, or getting out into the community is also very important, in order to, bring this business to the forefront. Um, so the North Node, the eclipses right there, is going to be kind of out with the old, in with the new as well when we have eclipses in those areas. But also the 11th house has to do with hopes, wishes, dreams. Okay. And the hard work that you've put in all of these years, you're going to finally start seeing that you're getting the accolades from all of the things that you have done throughout all of these years. Because it took, especially think back to the last 18 years, what was going on 18 years ago in this area of your life. So if you can kind of go back and start thinking about what was happening, you're going to get kind of a prelude at that time, okay? Or about that time, excuse me. Let me see. So Uranus will finally be leaving Taurus, and going into that second house. So there's a lot of money making ideas and money making opportunities that are going to come in quite suddenly. So exciting, because we want that. But the second house is a value system. It's our assets, debt, stocks, bonds, hierarchies, banking institutions. So if, like, say you take a loan or something, or need to take a loan, I can see you sitting down, talking it out. Again, communication, talking it out, budgeting the books. How can I make this happen? And then unexpectedly something comes in and makes it happen for you. So you are going to be getting the accolades of Uranus and Taurus for the last 7 years. So it's been going on since like 2018. Okay, we kind of got a little prelude in 2017, 2018, it went in. So, what has been going on in this area? Okay, so maybe this is about investments as well. Where have you been investing your time, your energy, your money, all of those things? Because again, with that 11th house, with the North Node there, you're going to be getting all the accolades from all the hard work that you've been putting in. Um, which is fucking amazing. So congratulations, you're finally out of that Uranus and Taurus. I know that that's been a really rough one. It's like you make money and then it goes just as fast, and then you make money and then there's a lull. It's like, oh my God, when is this going to end? But think about it. You've always been protected and you've always been able to, have what you need. I know even for me, my finances, it's like I have it, I don't, I have it, I don't, I have it, I don't. Yours is not to such an extreme, because you have a partner who is also affecting your chart. And we'll get into Tom's reading after this. I'll send you a separate link. Now, with that said, we've had Jupiter now in your fourth house of home and family. So there's something here to do, obviously, with homes. You guys are building homes, doing, the contracting businesses and stuff. So, Aries is also contracting. This is where you've seen like contracting supplies, nails are up to like 200, dollars for just a little bin of them. It's like, holy shit. With Saturn and Neptune there, it's going to continue if, it's going to continue, period, end of story. So is there a house that you've been wanting to buy? Is there a property that you've been looking at, for your future? Because I do feel like that is something that is going to be very much talked about in this next go around. Jupiter is there. Jupiter will be transiting into Leo in July. So Jupiter and Leo, it will still be in your fourth house of home and family. So that is where more expansion can come in. Say your son, um, gets married or, has a baby or, something like that. I am seeing grandchildren being born during that time. Or expansion in the family, you're expanding your home, you're bringing in a dog, that could also be an expansion. You're bringing in an animal or something like that. Or you could be building on the home that you already have. Maybe you're doing some type of repairs in this time where you want to, expand on it. You've decided so that you're going to, stay where you are. This is where you start putting in the work. You start, doing construction around your home if you're not already doing that. Um, Jupiter is the protector. So anything that you're trying to bring in, it's going to expand on that and it's going to protect you. So do keep that in mind as well. Now, Jupiter is going to be transiting um, from that fourth house later on in the year as it goes into Leo. Yes, it'll still be in some of your fourth house. It'll be transiting through, so you'll see the accolades. So, like I said, if there is a loan that you're wanting to take to purchase a new home, sell a home, or maybe you guys are going to be flipping homes or building, community, like, community type living, right? Because that's going to be something that is really big for the collective, is building on those. And I believe I did talk to Tom about that as well when we were sitting at breakfast. I believe that was a conversation that we did have. So again, going back to some type of community living. Now, fifth house is our creative projects, our children, pets, the love of our life, it's romance, all of those things. So make sure you guys are taking time out to court one another, date, those types of things. And obviously we're not in the child rearing ages anymore. So, what is your baby? A baby is not necessarily just like having a child. It's about like, what are we birthing into the world? Are we birthing in a new project? Are we birthing in a new book? So I do feel like your creative juices are going to get flowing. And as they do, I feel like there's a lot more that's going to be brought to the forefront. Now, the one thing about Jupiter is, when it transits into a new sign, a lot of ideas can come up. And, maybe somebody calls you and says, hey, I have this idea. But when you try to reach out and touch it, it like pops like a bubble, right? It's not something that is completely solidified. So what happens is Jupiter is direct. All these thoughts, ideas, conversations, all of these things, they're great, they're grand. There's just a lot of them because Jupiter expands on all of that, right? So what'll happen is then when Jupiter goes retrograde. So let me give it to you like this. When Jupiter is direct, it's like having the ocean, like say you set up your little spot, on the beach, right? You got your towel laid out, you've got your chair, and you're sitting there and you're watching the tides come in, come in, come in, come in, come in. This is where Jupiter's direct. And you're like, oh shit, like now I got to move my chair back. So you pick up your chair, you pick up your towel, you move it back. And then all of a sudden, Jupiter goes retrograde, and that's when the tides flow out. Well, what happens when the tides flow out? It leaves little trinkets, right? It leaves little sand dollars and starfish and abalone and agates and, all these little treasures from the ocean. So, what do? You go along the beach and you start picking up all those treasures and you put them in your little sack. Then, what happens is, as soon as Jupiter goes direct again, now you have all these tools in order to be able to maneuver forward with whatever ideas that came up while Jupiter was retrograde. Or while it was direct and then went retrograde. And now you have the people, the places, and the things that are going to be able to solidify whatever it was that Jupiter brought to the forefront for you. Now, with that said, we do have Pluto in Aquarius. And with Pluto in Aquarius, um, it's about, um, yes, Pluto is about death, decay, and destruction. And it's like a monkey wrench that gets thrown in. So maybe you have a friend or you have somebody in your life that, you know, need something, they everything was fine, and then boom, their whole world got flipped up on its head. Okay. Unfortunately, Pluto is death, so you could find that, some of your friends, some of the people in your community are passing away. Okay, it's the same with me. I'm also going through that experience. But also, it's, where have you been giving away your power? Okay, where have you been giving away your power to your community, to, other people in your life? Because Pluto's going to be there until 2044. Now, that's a really long transit. It started in 2024, and that's something that's not going away. So do keep that in mind. But also, you may find yourself, um, I don't want to do this over here anymore. Maybe you've been doing some type of, giving back or, volunteering or something in those areas. And now you're like, I don't really align with that anymore. And now you're going to be moving forward into new areas. Maybe there is, I mean, obviously there's a lot going on politically. And now you decide, you know what, I want to stand up. I want to say something, so Pluto is like, where are you giving away your power? Oh, I don't say anything because I don't want to rock the boat. Me, you can see with all of my posts, I don't give a fuck about rocking the boat. I don't care who likes me. It's going to align me with people who share my same beliefs. Okay. So I don't want to be in just anybody's community. I don't want everybody to like me. I don't really give a fuck about who likes me and who doesn't. That's their issue, not mine, because I'm a fucking delight, as you are you. So do keep that in mind as well. Don't be afraid to rock the boat a bit, because it is very necessary at this time. And like I said, you're going to be going through this experience until 2044. So you're not going to be able to keep your mouth shut and just pretend that, whatever somebody else is saying, that you agree. Okay. You can't agree for the sake of agreeing. If you don't agree, you don't agree. It doesn't mean you have to hate the person, but you might find yourself just kind of maneuvering out of those situations, whether that's family, friends, community, online communities. I mean, we have communities all over the place. Now, Pluto is, it is about transformation. So, we are transforming in that area of our friends, our networking, all of that. So you're going to find yourself networking in different groups and associations, which I think is very important. So if you're not already doing that, get prepared, because it's on its way. Now, we have had eclipses in that sixth house, which actually has a lot to do with your employment. So, yes, you have been going through a lot of, changes when it comes to, Tom changing business, not working for someone else, but going into business for himself, which means it's put a lot of pressure on you as well. You have also had to work on your health. Okay. And your everyday routine has gone through a significant change in the last 18 months. So we did just have that eclipse like a week ago in that area as well. So if there's been any type of health issues or, changes in your routines and those types of things, you can finally find yourself integrating into these new routines. So whether it's a new health routine or it's a new, way of eating or a new way of like maybe you started taking supplements more during that time. I know that you and I have talked about those things. So Virgo is about it's depicted as a woman on a boat carrying wheat and medicine, medicine being earth because it is an earth sign. So we use supplements. Me, I'm Virgo, 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 Virgo. So what do? I use the earth. I use supplements. My foods, all of those things have gone through significant changes in the way that I deal with my body. Because when you're in an environment that is not conducive to who you are, it will make you sick. Okay, mentally sick, emotionally sick, spiritually sick, physically sick. Your cortisol levels are through the roof. So it's very, very important that you are in environments that are not making you sick and around people who also make you sick. Okay. So definitely you're going to be finding that your routines have gone through significant changes. Also, let's get back to the children. Your son is definitely going to be going through massive, significant changes. You can be there for him, but he also needs to go through these experiences for his maturation process. It's just part of the game. Okay. We can't save them. They have to do what they're doing. And all we can do is be a guiding light and say, okay, here's how I did it in the past, and then advise him, and then really it's not about our kids because that's the South Node. So we're going to tend to want to, migrate towards the children, towards these things, but really it's asking you to migrate more towards friends, humanitarian projects, community, and those types of things. But we tend to only go towards what we're used to. So for the next 18 months, do plan on seeing significant changes when it comes to the children in your life or even children that you've adopted, so to speak. I know I have a lot of adopted kids that are not mine that still reach out to me, and they were my kids as friends. And they still call Mama Peace. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let me see. Also, just a little side note, when Jupiter enters into the fifth house, okay, I struggle with my weight. I'm up, I'm down, I'm up, I'm down, I'm up, I'm down. Now, Jupiter loves the decadence of life. He loves the fondues, the chocolates, the sweeter things in life. So you could notice that when he's transiting that fifth house, that your weight is fluctuating. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not even doing anything. I'm not eating anything. And I'm being good with my diet, but again, be really mindful of your cortisol levels because Jupiter transiting that fifth house can make us it can make it hard for us to lose weight. Okay. So my suggestion is, more weight training instead of like getting on an elliptical machine. Maybe it's time for you to get some weights around the house. And maybe when you're sitting at the desk, you could be like, if you're, typing or reading something, you could be doing, weightlifting and those types of things. That would be very, very important at this time because it's not about burning calories. It's about, being able to lift weights because it's the strength that's going to be able to get you, because what happens is as we get older, especially our legs, We tend to sit around a lot, especially for those of us who, have to sit down and, work from a computer. We're not up and moving around a lot, which is going to weaken our body structure. So it's really important now that you are strengthening that lower part of the body, okay? Because it's, your calves are directly connected to your heart. Think about the calves as they are contracting, so is the heart. Okay. So you want to keep the lower part of your body really strong. So maybe that's every time you go to the bathroom, do 25 squats. All right. Each time. How many times do you go to the bathroom? Try to, you at least 4 times a day, right? So as you are standing there, after you go to the restroom and you're washing your hands, do 25 squats before you walk out of the bathroom. That's going to strengthen the lower part of the body. Because again, without that lower part, that's where we break hips. That's where we get heart attacks because our calves are not pumping. Very important that we're walking if you can. If not, there's that Grow with Joe on YouTube. She's free. She's fun to work out with, or going to the gym. But make sure that you are doing strength training, because it's going to be very important that you can lift your own body weight. Once you can no longer lift your body weight, that's where you slowly deplete yourself. So I'm feeling very strongly that I'm supposed to be telling you this, especially with Jupiter now entering into that fifth house. And muscle weighs more than fat. So keep that in mind too. The scale is not your friend. It's how we feel. It's how, you look. It's not about a scale. I would say throw the scale away. I don't even own one. I don't fucking want one. Never had one. Never will. Now, you are going to have Mars transiting in. Okay, so April is going to be a very, very, very pivotal month. We're going to have 7 planets in Aries. So that goes for the both of us. All right. So there's going to be a massive, massive change when it comes to our identity, what we're known for. And then Chiron is going to be switching into Taurus. So this has a lot to do with our self-worth. So do keep that in mind. Chiron and Taurus, I have that in my natal chart. You have Chiron and Aries. Congratulations, you will be over that. But Chiron and Taurus has a lot to do with worthiness. Okay, so it is about our self-worth. It's about making money. It's about all of those things. In fact, I'm being guided to read this to you. Um, I'm going to be sending this email blast. So, as Saturn moves further into Aries, it's strengthening a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. Sextile represents opportunities. Pluto in Aquarius is collective transformation of power. Saturn in Aries is new direction of structure, drive, and discipline through personal accountability and raw authenticity. This time frame is where we have opportunities to transform and build new collective structure from the breakdown of the previous Saturn Pluto conjunction in 2020. That was the initial dynamite. This is the early opportunity to rebuild the phase that follows. That's why the world looks so chaotic right now. It's the massive rebuild, and everyone is in a race to come out ahead because humans have a tendency to make everything a fucking competition. Neptune adds the element of mystery and deception here, which is partially why everyone is kind of caught up in arguing and dividing through different perspectives and subconscious programming, because we don't even know what's really happening and exist in different realities and algorithms. As we move through this year and Uranus moves into Gemini, that's going to trigger a rapid acceleration of the process with new ideas and innovative measures, probably with technology advancing as it trines Pluto in Aquarius and sextiles Neptune in Aries. There's a dramatic expansion with it in July when Jupiter goes into Leo and fans the flame, so to speak, making its opposition to Pluto trine to Neptune and sextile to Uranus. So now the sketchy looking side of Jupiter's ingress into Leo is Chiron moving into Taurus. Chiron's focus has been healing our identity and ego wounds since it went into Aries 2018 and 2019. Taurus representing self-worth and resources. That's where the healing dynamic of Chiron will shift into the Jupiter's brief square is going to amplify it. The bright side of it, that I use the word brief because the last square lasted from October till early January because of Jupiter's retrograde. The next one looks more like ripping off a band-aid and it being over within July. So that's why I'm telling you, like, July is going to be very pivotal. And this is an email blast that I am sending out to everyone. But I want to give you a little bit of a heads up before everyone else. I'll, so yeah, that's a little bit of like a bird's eye view of like what the year is going to look like. So how can you integrate these changes without doing the Taurian thing of like, digging your heels in and not wanting to move? Now, Chiron is going to be doing a lot of healing when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your value system. Value isn't just about money. It's how you value the money that you make from the company you work for or the company that you own. It's how you value yourself. Do you value your mental health more than you value this relationship over here? So if somebody is making you fucking feel crazy and there's nothing you can fucking do about it, do you value that more than, oh, well, it's okay. I have to deal with it because, X, Y, and Z, and, people expect this of me and, whatever fucking excuses. Well, Chiron and Taurus isn't going to allow you to do that. This is about, again, value systems. And as a Taurus, you should know about value systems. Now, with Venus, you have Venus in Gemini. So money making opportunities, Gemini has a lot to do with, again, let's go back to the writing books and, online marketing, a blog, a YouTube channel. And again, you're going to have to get used to this because this isn't going away. Also be very careful traveling as you are. Don't get into the car upset or angry because that will cause ripple effects that can come back and, bite you in the ass. Now, with Venus in Gemini, women are going to be an asset to you, okay? With Venus in Gemini, Venus is the feminine energy. So, maybe you start a woman's group or something like that, or a woman's blog, or, a woman's writing class, or women's reading something, whatever. But I feel like the women in your life with Uranus transiting over Venus, I feel like the feminines in your life are going to be very, very important and pivotal as you move forward with this Uranus and Gemini starting again in April. You're going to be meeting up with certain women and they are going to be pushing you into different directions. Try not to be disillusioned. Not all that glitters is gold, is what I want to say. But I think that you're pretty, and fucking call me if you have any questions. You can. I am always at your service, anything you need. So if you have any questions in that area, I would definitely, reach out. Okay. So I want to go ahead and get started on some cards for you and see what this next year is going to be bringing in for you. Spirit, please show me. Actually, I'm going to do the next few months because I feel like the next few months. Let's do April. Spirit, please show me Angie in April. Okay, so no place like home. So I did talk about home, family, working from home, those types of things, and also bringing peace back into the home. All right. Or next time you come back out here, you need to come to my home. I'm here. I'm here. um, but no, with that said, I do feel like with the five, there are going to be changes in the home in April. So I don't know what that means for you. They're not quite saying, but I did kind of cover that with Jupiter in Cancer and like a lot to do with, the home. So, just making sure that when you're home, you're in a very peaceful place. You're nurturing yourself. You're nurturing your home. Is there you know what? I just also heard too, we are going into spring and spirits screaming this loud and clear for April. Do some feng shui in the home. That would be really beneficial for you too. If you type in, best feng shui practices, I always say like move 30 things around the home. And if you're not moving 30 things, like, maybe you shift the way your couch is, or maybe you paint the wall behind your couch. That also is feng shui. Maybe you can bring more yellow into the home. Yellow is cheeriness and, it's a brighter disposition. Happiness or whatever, especially like in your kitchen. Maybe you want to change up your kitchen or something, the colors. That would be very beneficial as well. Um, with all these changes and all the energies that we're going to have in Aries, and it's going to be squaring over to Jupiter, it will be a very pivotal time. Or maybe a home comes available to you, or you're looking into buying or selling of a home in April. Or it has a lot to do with the contracting. Maybe you end up, because Aries is has a lot to do with contractors, you find yourself busier when it comes to Tom's job, or his career, and both of your guys' careers, because you guys are business partners in April. So you could find yourself doing a lot when it comes to the home. So it just says go the distance. Don't stop now. You're almost to the finish line. Okay. So Spirit, please show me May for Angie. May for Angie. Look at this. You got your new life. New life. You know what? Welcome it with open arms. This is where you're finally coming out of that slumber. Things are, magically manifesting into your life. And I did talk about the book. Okay. If you have been wanting to write a book or wanting to write your memoirs or journaling, that would be very important. Maybe you end up finding some book, or somebody gifts you a book as well, some type of a self-help book or whatever. Or if you want to have other people collaborate on a book, or, like I said, whatever that means for you. But new life, we are all being prepared for a new life right now. And maybe again, this is about you embracing a new home. Okay. Or new aspects in your home. So please show me June. So we have April, May, and June. Spirit, please show me June for Angie. Angie. Okay. So I did talk about working out. I did talk about working out. So maybe a gym, or, maybe there's a Pilates class, or there's something going on in your area. I'm definitely getting that. Oh my God, look at this. We got the Y at the bottom of the deck again. So what is it that you're asking? I do feel like with the five here, 5 plus 0 is 5, and fives is about change created by outside forces beyond your control, and there's nothing you can do about it, but it's taking you into this new life. And all Spirit's asking you to do by June is just be flexible. You just got to be flexible in the way things are maneuvering for you, not to you. So if there's anything going on, I know you're asking, like, why is this happening? Why? What is going on? And Spirit just says, be flexible. But again, it is talking about, we do have the number 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. So we went from the 5 at the beginning to the 10 at the end of the bookend. So this is about something that you have been incubating as well, something that you've been kind of keeping under wraps. Maybe you haven't been telling anybody, but it's almost like be flexible about the way that things are going to be aligning for you, because by June, something is coming in. And I feel like for you, it could be a spark of a new idea. I don't know if you can see that little flower. Okay, coming out of her head, something she's been thinking about, something that you have been keeping dormant, something that you have been, it's almost like, like when we're pregnant, right? And we're nurturing it. So I almost feel like you've been pregnant with some new ideas, but you've been kind of keeping them under wraps. And I do feel like more ideas are going to be sparking around that time of June. And right around the summer solstice is what I'm getting. And it's going to be time for you, like, you might have an idea of how you want things to go, but Spirit's saying be flexible, because they're not going to go exactly the way that you want them to, but they're going to go exactly the way they're supposed to do. The universe has a plan, so keep that in mind. Okay. So I want to read the why, because it is the number 31. Out of the book, but I'm feeling called to, because it did come out twice. Let's get to the number 31. So it says motives driving intention, the power of knowing the why. There is great power in understanding your motives right now. The oracle asks you to be very clear about why you're asking this question, looking for this answer, behaving this way, and most importantly, making this choice. Knowing your why is the key to fulfillment. When you are clear about it, your intention will then be a magnet for miracles. Motives define the nature of your experience. When you think about something, feel it, and then act on it. This invisible why is the life force energy within the seed, which brings it to life and holds the potential for growth. And I want to read, I'm being called to read the prosperity message. Knowing the motives behind your career and creative ventures is the ticket to your greatest success. It's time to ask yourself some probing questions. Are you driven by a desire to serve? Does your prosperity impact the greater good? When you envision your most prosperous life, are you guided by a sense of purpose or by a need to make money, acquire things, save for the future, or all of these? No motive is bad or good, but having agendas hidden from yourself will lead to disappointment and possibly failure. Be clear about why you want the things you do. If the motives are true, accept them. If they are not, change them so that you can step into your extraordinary life. Okay. So let's get some moonology. All right, Spirit. Moonology. Spirit, please show me Angie for the month of April on the No Place Like Home. Whoa, too many cards. Yeah, so adjustments are required and conclusions are within reach. And we have the full moon eclipse here. Okay. Bottom of the deck, emotions are running high. So, there's going to be some major adjustments in the home and family area. And some endings also in that area as well. Also, because you guys work in the area of building homes and those types of things, there is something that is going on there as well. So do keep that in mind. I don't want to go too much into that, but let's look at the Moonology deck for the month of May on the new life for Angie Spirit. Again, there's the new moon eclipse, so expect powerful changes when it comes to this new life. New moon, that's so funny. Look, look, look. On in the month of May, look at that. It says new and it says new, and this is an eclipse. So very powerful changes coming up in the month of May. I do feel like they're triggered from what's ever going on in April. Eclipses eclipse out things, and when one door closes, a new door opens. So whatever is leaving your life at this time, let it. Okay, it may create, some like obnoxious shit and you're just like, what the fuck, but it is just telling you to meditate and contemplate. That's really funny because we have the new moon in Pisces today. We're right now, as I'm recording this reading, I feel like this is a timing card. And funny enough, at the bottom of the deck, we have the eclipse. Today is a new moon eclipse. So whatever is happening, whatever it is you're manifesting right now, I think you could see like some of it coming to fruition. So be very mindful what you're manifesting into this new energy, because I feel like in the month of May, it's almost like I'm getting, be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. So definitely do keep your thoughts positive, because it's as above, so below, as within, so without. So you are manifesting something very important. And this is all part of your spiritual journey. That's what Pisces represents. But again, Pisces is the house of the self undoing. So if there's something that happened in the month of April, it's to get you clear. It's to clear that path for you for moving forward into this new life. Please, Spirit, please show me the month of June. That one just flew right out. Don't let pride get in your way, okay? Don't let pride get in your way. That's full moon in Leo for the month of June. Oh my God, confidence is your key to success. Look at that. You have the Leo cards. Both Leo, the new moon and the full moon. So again, I did talk about, I feel like whatever is going on, it's preparing you for this Jupiter moving into Leo, okay? Um, all right, I am going to call it as I see it. I'm just going to say, you could find yourself where, because we are going to have, okay, um, Saturn and Neptune and all this energy in Aries is fire. Jupiter is also going to be moving into Leo, and in August is Leo season. We have fire. Okay. You could find that there is a lot of wildfires and people's homes are being burned down and they are going to be needing to be rebuilt. Okay. So you could find yourself, and I just got confirmation on that when I said it. My phone just started going off as I'm saying that right now. So you could find that your work is really picking up because of these wildfires. So if you've been watching my posts for a really long time, which I know you have seen them, I had been writing like, watch the water, watch the water, watch the water, watch the water, watch the water. Well, with this new moon in Pisces, we've got the sun in Pisces right now. We have Mercury retrograde in Pisces right now. We've got Mars in Pisces. We have Jupiter that just woke up in Cancer. What are those? Water signs. Hence all the fucking water we just got hit with. So what are we going to have? Water damage. Okay. But having Saturn and Neptune and Aries, it's going to give you fucking work because you're going to have to help other people. So make sure that you're expanding on that business as well for, like, when you have your downtime, you're doing like, uh, you know, um, helping other people fix up their homes or whatever, right? Um, Also, so I am getting that, houses and properties can be burning down because we are going into air and fire now. I mean, we've been in earth and water for years, for a long ass fucking time. And now we're going into air and fire. So after the watch the water, watch the water, watch the water, as Jupiter moves into Leo, you're going to see me saying, watch the fire, watch the fire, watch the fire, watch the airplanes, be careful on the airplanes, because it'll bring airplanes out of the sky unexpectedly, because Pluto will. I mean, you're just seeing it. I mean, fuck, we had 6,000 planes grounded a couple of months ago because of the solar flares, and it was burning out the computer systems in the airplanes. Plus, uh, you're seeing airplanes going down, airplane crashes, so I hate to say that, but forewarned is forearmed. So if for some reason you're feeling like not getting on an airplane, listen to your intuition. Even if it's going to hurt so and so's feelings, it doesn't fucking matter. Even if you have to postpone it until later because you don't feel like this plane is it, you want to go on this plane, then so be it. Okay, so be it. So, but do keep in mind that your confidence is your key to success. Don't let pride get in your way when it comes to also your health. Okay. Your health is your wealth as you are moving forward. Listen, you can sit behind a desk all you fucking want, but that is not going to make you healthy. So keep that in mind. You got to get up. You got to keep moving. You got to go on your walks. You got to do your strength training. You can sit on a fucking elliptical all goddamn day, but it's not going to do you a damn bit of good. It just shows you know how to walk. And yes, getting your 10,000 steps in a day is great. But again, let's get back to the strength training. I do feel like June is going to be a time where you're going to be asked to be bold, but you're also going to be asked to be flexible when it comes to whatever is going on in the month of June. Okay. Go ahead and pull. I just want one card, Spirit, for Angie G. Angie, please show me Angie. One card for Angie that she needs to be aware of at this time. They gave me two. Okay, so the pig, near or far, is an omen of phenomenal luck and great abundance, high honors, and all ambitions attained. Oh, I love that. And let's see what this one is. Oh my God. Okay, you got a bouquet of flowers, an absolute indication of long and a happy life if children are near, by extraordinary honors and fame. So I love these two cards that just came out. Um, I do feel like you are at a crossroads, right? You're at that like crossroads right now. Do I go this way? Do I go that way? And I feel like intuitively, you're going to know exactly what direction you need to go into. All right. So let's see what else do I want. All right. Let's get some messages. All right, Spirit. Any other messages that you want? Okay, just wow. Okay, so we've got the Three of Earth, which talks about talent, recognition, and collaborations, and we have the Justice card, fairness, and the Law of Karma. With all of the hard work that you have put in and collaborating with others, and I do feel, with justice, it's the law of cause and effect. What you put out is what you get back. Okay. So because you have been fair and balanced in your life, I do feel like you are about ready to receive the accolades and the justice that you deserve. And then we've got the Page of Water, sensitive, open hearted, and intuitive. So there is going to be some type of a surprise that's going to be coming in. Yep. As soon as I said surprise, I looked at the bottom of the deck and we have the transformation, which is the Tower card. This one talks about realizations, life changes, and liberation. So liberation from anything, any disservices, anything that has been holding you back is going to come crumbling down. The best part about the Tower is it's like the tower doesn't come down for no fucking reason, right? The tower comes down for things that we've been needing to let go of. So if there are things that you need to let go of, I definitely do feel like those things are going. It's already lasted. It's time. Whatever it is, it's time. Okay. Um. So there is some major life changes. Oh, I didn't even see these. Yeah, here's you, brilliant, experienced, and humorous. So you're very knowledgeable. And again, look at this, look at this, look at this. We have, look at that, time. All right. So here, there's a part of you that feels like you're running out of time, is what I'm getting, but you're really not. I feel like whatever is going on right now is to give you time to really think about the crossroads and which direction that you're going to be going in. And trust me, there are no such things as mistakes in life. There are only lessons. So if you're on, say you're on the wrong path, the tower comes in and says, "Nope, skirt, go this way." Then go. Be flexible because right now that's what you're being asked to do. Okay. There's going to be some opportunities that are going to be coming in. And for you, I feel like it's just a time for you to sit, listen, pause, because again, this is the Pisces card. So if nothing is happening right now, pause and go back over, rethink, reevaluate, reiterate, redo, rest, realize we only have this Mercury in retrograde for 2 more days. And, we are in year of the horse. So it is going to be very quick, 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 quick. I feel like the next couple of months when we come out of this Mercury retrograde, get Mars out of the fucking mud. Mars wants to go home to Aries. It's in Pisces right now. It's always a 40-day, 40-night transit. Um, it's going to be an ample time for you to just kind of pause and reflect before you make any decisions about how you're moving forward. So do, go back over whatever books or whatever, like right now you're going over my books, okay, as we're talking. I do feel like, again, this is just a wrapping up cycle of all the little things that you need to get done because you're going to have major other things that are going to be coming in that you're going to be moving forward with, and it's going to be really fucking quick. So the next 2 months of our lives is going to be like, holy shit. And then by July, you're going to be like, oh, okay, now you're fully integrated into this new energy frequency that we're all in. And it's the whole entire collective that is going through this experience. This is where all the planets are now changing into these new houses. And so we're all going to be like baby giraffes standing up for the very first time and trying to get our footing. So just, honor it. Cut off anything that no longer serves a purpose in your life. Um, and it's time for you to kind of take a step back and start seeing things from a completely different perspective. This is also about enlightenment, okay? Enlightenment about what needs to change in your life in order for you to be able to move on. And, don't let pride get in your way. Don't let fear get in your way. Be confident that whatever choices that you're making, you're able to make them with full confidence, okay? Because again, you're very well protected. I love the cards that showed up for you. I think that they're very important moving forward in this new energy. Okay, so let me see. Let's get you chakra oracle cards. Let's see. All right. Any other messages for Angie that she needs to be aware of at this time? Anything that she needs to be aware of that she does not see? Oh, wow. Impartiality. Okay. Funny enough, she's got the scales here too. Look at that. Scales and scales. So is there legal documentation that you need to, is there something legal that you're doing? Well, obviously taxes, fuck, you know, um, taxes are legal. Make sure that you're crossing your T's, dotting your I's. But let's get some more on this impartiality. Spirit, please show me, Angie, what is it? It being partial also. It's about, staying balanced and being impartial. You know what? I was talking about painting, and creativity as well. Maybe you want to take a painting class or, being creative. Maybe you want to paint your house. I'm definitely getting painting, creativity, maybe even, taking a painting class and, a sip and paint or something like that, in your community if they're offering that or something. And then what else do we have here? Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Okay. And one more for Angie. No, that's too many. I asked for one. All right, Spirit, please show me for Angie anything else she needs to be aware of. Okay. Abundance. Oh, shucky darn. And gratitude. You've got gratitude. Um, and look, she looks pregnant, doesn't she? I talked about that. So you might find out someone is pregnant. You may find out there is baby coming. Okay. I am definitely getting that. Um, because I'm also getting a baby here. So I do feel like you might find out someone is pregnant or having a child. And also, like I said, I do feel like you are going to be giving birth to whatever new ideas these are. Stay balanced, and help where you can. Listen, when I talk about humanitarian projects, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and volunteer. If you don't fucking have time, you don't have time. But if you have like canned goods or, you want to pick up something for the homeless shelter or, mothers in need or something like that, how can you help out that way? Okay. And that would be really, because the universe always gives us abundance, but people like to save, 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 save. How can we help other people with the abundance that we're bringing in? Because when we help other people with the abundance that we're bringing in, and my phone just lit up right when I said that, it brings us more abundance to do so. And because you have Leo, Jupiter in Leo has a lot to do with children. So can you help out? Maybe you can volunteer for the library and read books to small children, in your free time for an hour. You know what I mean? Or do some type of creative course or, something, because I also have Jupiter in Leo. And whenever you have Jupiter in Leo, how can you teach children? Jupiter in Leo is depicted as a guru who sits under a tree who teaches a small group of children, and children can be adults, right? They're just, they're immature or don't have the education that they need in order to move forward. So, the more you can share, the more the universe is going to give back to continue to bless that area. Same with me. So do keep that in mind. But I'm definitely getting something here with somebody finding out someone's pregnant. Finding out someone's pregnant in the next few months. So, and I've been talking about expansion in the home, but also pregnant with new ideas, and birthing those into existence that's going to help you create more abundance in your life. So, I really like these energies for you. I'm going to go ahead and do some Rebel Unicorn because, I'm fucking funny like that. All right, Spirit, please show me, Angie, what what Rebel Unicorn messages do we have? Shame, regret, and guilt. Those are just bullshit. Forgive, and we do have the forgiveness here. Let that shit go. Okay. So there's something here about like maybe even forgiving yourself for something, or forgiving someone else. By forgiving that other person, you release them from whatever that is. And it says rebel because fuck it. And with Pluto in Aquarius, Aquarius rules rebellion. It's the revolution. So you are going to see a mass revolution coming soon with this North Node now in um, Aquarius. So you may just, fuck it. I don't belong here anymore. This is what I'm doing, and I'm rebelling and I'm moving on. So rebel because fuck it. And don't feel shameful about choosing yourself in the process. What else do we have for Angie? All right, we got two cards. Believe what you see, face reality, or live in fucking la la land. Choose bravely. And you need some fucking yoga in your life. Oh my God, look at this. No joke. Last card out. And look, ancient shit is cool. So we do have two cards of yoga, very important. That would be great for strength training. Pilates also really good for strength training. So get yourself into a yoga class. And then at the bottom of the deck, it says, get the fuck out of your head, get into your heart. It misses you. And we have Leo here. Leo does represent the heart. So make sure that you are eating heart healthy, not Cheerios. That's a fucking lie. Stay away from cereals. Eat your, meats and, keto, if that's what you got to do. And then make better fucking choices. If you are pissed at where you are, then stop taking yourself there. So really good time for you to start making some decisions on the future of your life. Angie, I really like the next few months. Some of it is predictive for the next, year and moving forward, even to the next 7 years. Doesn't mean that all of this is going to happen overnight, as you can see. But you're going to have to make some adjustments. Okay. That's why we're talking about over here. We've got adjustments, and then it's asking you to be flexible. Okay, making adjustments in every area of your life when it comes to work, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your community, when it comes to your routine, when it comes to, it's a fucking wild card. You know, so you're going to be making a lot of new adjustments in your life in order for you to integrate. So it is saying don't be stubborn, be flexible, and get ready to move forward with a vengeance. Okay, definitely seeing birth of new ideas and you finding out someone is pregnant in the next few months. Okay, so congratulations to whoever that may be. I love you so very much. If you have any questions on this reading, give me a call and I will be able to clarify any questions that may come up. In the meantime, get ready for some liberation, life changes, and be sure to be confident as things move forward because confidence is everything. So be bold like the lion here, not like the cowardly lion on the Wizard of Oz. Meow. Be fierce, be bold, be courageous, and get ready to step in to the wildest part of our lives as we move through this year of the fire horse. I keep talking about fire, so be mindful also that also, is your place too. So another thing that I'm getting before I end this reading is make sure you're doing fire protection around your home, making sure that, the debris is cleared up around your home because fire is going to be imminent. California is always on fucking fire, as we all know. So anyway, again, we'll do another check-in here in the next couple of months. But like I said, if you have any questions regarding anything that I talked about here today, definitely reach out to me, give me a call, and we will go over those questions personally. Anyway, Angie, I love you so very much. And I want to thank you for everything that you have done in my life, making my life easier. And if there's anything I could ever do to repay you, just know that my heart is with you at all times. And I appreciate you more than life itself. Anyway, we will chat soon and I will be doing Tom's reading next. Give me a little bit of time so I can kind of wash off your energy and clear these cards and then we'll get into Tom's. Anyway, I love you guys. Take care.